Play the Bazaar. It's on his forehead. He knows his memes.
Checkmate. Oh, hey. Didn't see you there.
Yeah.
I'm Reynad. I'm a professional gamer, streamer, CEO of Tempo Storm. What you might not know is I'm a game designer at heart.
First off, I just want to say that I really like this, the absurdity of this thing. I've seen some of his other videos, and it's obviously, he has obviously put in some time and effort into making this video look good. Like, he's got the setup, he's got the thing, he's got the chair. He's got a bunch of, I don't know where he is, but he's got a lot of props. He looks like he made an effort to make it look like he's some rich guy. But he's got no shoes on. So.
I've been playing and competing in card games my entire life. I've actually been designing games since I was a teenager. I've spent countless hours complaining about card games on Twitch.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he basically just complains about everything, all the time.
Card games were such a big part of over half of my life. I feel like I'm uniquely qualified to make a great one. And that's why I'm making my own card game. There are a lot of great card games out there. If I was going to make a great one that stood out from the pack, I had to go in search of the perfect design.
Just want to say, and I have this problem, but considering this is a professionally made video, I feel like it's okay for me to critique. He's repeating himself. He's just saying the same thing, just slightly different. He's repeating himself.
I traveled the
It's very redundant.
world to meet the greatest game designers. I went over mountains, across oceans, through deserts, when finally it hit me. I should make a deck building game.
I feel like he just wanted to take a vacation and he just had, he just wanted to expense it, so he's live streamed it.
There's never been a deck building game that's been designed specifically for PC or mobile. A game that takes advantage of all of those digital mechanics that are so fun to play with, but impossible to replicate on a tabletop version. A deck.
Well, first off, I paused a little late. Those graphics need some updating. But second, I think a deck building game is interesting, but let's see how he describes
Building game
it.
is a completely different genre from the type of card game most of you guys are used to. You don't use mana, you don't control creatures that fight your opponent. Instead, you start off with a very small deck full of weak cards. You're buying different cards that make it more powerful, killing monsters that drop rewards, and eventually you try to use that powerful deck that you've built to kill your opponent.
Wait, how do you build a deck during gameplay? I feel like you would have to have all the cards available at all times during the game.
That's why I'm excited to announce the Bazaar.
It's a really nice logo. Someone obviously put some time and effort into that.
This isn't just an idea anymore. We have a full team working on this project.
Oh, it's digital. Did he say that earlier? Okay, that makes sense. It looks like they're copying the Hearthstone board design. Tokens, end turns on the other side. They've got a rope here. Coins coming out? Hero powers. I'm going to bet that's the equivalent of some kind of hero powers. You've got cards. That looks just like flavor. Alright. Looks decent.
And they've already built a full game engine and hundreds of
So it's not as polished as, obviously, the Hearthstone engine, but he probably doesn't have... Well, you know, Blizzard's a small indie shop, so I'm not sure exactly how Reynad can compete with that.
working cards. It's set in an intergalactic market.
I like the art style. I want to say that right away. I hate anime-style card games. Like, there's a couple that are really good game mechanics, good playing, but I refuse to play them because I just hate the
place
art.
where a bunch of different cultures and species and people are coming together to trade and barter. Let me tell you about how the game works. I'm a professional gamer, streamer, and they've already built a full game, money to shop with to make your deck better. You are coming together to trade and barter.
I didn't mean to skip ahead like that.
Let me tell you about how the game works.
Yeah, before you do that, let's talk about the art. So we've got this guy. I like the cartoony playstyle. I like how it's different than World of Warcraft and Hearthstone style. This kind of reminds me of the 5 What is the name of that board game? Anyways, basically a board game style art, more cartoony, but still kind of serious. It gives a lot of flavor to it, to the world. I don't know what this is. That looks like some kind of blob, I guess. Like kind of like a blue version of Slime Princess from Adventure Time.
To trade and barter. Let me tell you about how the game works.
Standard dragons. Okay, so now he's gonna tell us how the game works.
Create a brand new deck from scratch every single game that you play.
What? It sounds like a lot of work. Like you have to create a new deck between every match.
Every turn, you're gonna draw 5 cards.
From the deck you just created.
Those cards are going to give you money to shop with to make your deck better, or they're going to be weapons that give you attack value.
Items.
You can send that right to your opponent's face, or you can choose to kill a monster that's going to...
Monsters?
Drop a reward and improve your deck even more.
Oh, so... Okay, so you killed monsters, you get money, you get rewards, and then that allows you to get better cards for your deck during the game. That seems a bit... Well, it's not really something I understand. Let's get.
It's not all about making your deck better.
Well, what the hell? You just said it was.
It's just as important to make your opponent's deck worse.
Ah, you got me. Ah, you got me.
Some of the monsters that you kill are going to mess with your opponent's game.
That's a cute monster. That's a little slime baby thing.
Plan. Some of the spells that you play are going to make it harder for them to buy.
That's the second time he showed that snow spell. And then he shows this.
Buy the cards they want to buy. Throughout a game, both players' decks are getting more and more powerful. You're drawing bigger weapons, you're doing more and more damage, and eventually, if you build your deck the right way, you get to smack them in the face and kill them.
I wonder if this is like the new game mode that came out with Kobolds and Catacombs Hearthstone expansion, the Dungeon Run. Because I really liked the Dungeon Run, because, and that was sort of a deck building game. So what it works is like, but it was through different opponents. So you would, first round your deck sucked, and then at the end of the game, if you won against the AI opponent, you got to pick a couple cards, and then they got added to your deck. And then you played against a harder opponent. Then if you won, you picked, and it kind of built into your, basically, you're playing way overpowered opponents with way overpowered decks, but your deck is way overpowered. But that requires multiple opponents, so I'm not sure how that would work here, unless it's multiple turns against the same opponents, I guess. I'm not really...
There's a lot of different classes in the game that have completely different play styles game to game.
Different classes. Okay, so I'm assuming that different cards and different deck options will be available for different classes. Just like every... it's colors and magic, and I'm going to bet that that's going to be just like, Hunter versus Warrior in Hearthstone. I wonder if it's got a hero.
The player's going to be confronted with different monsters in front of him, different spells, different items that are all unique to that.
So there's resources, there's monsters, there's spells, and there's items, it sounds like. So 4 card types.
Class that they picked. Even if you're playing the same class over and over and over again, every single game you're building a completely different deck with a completely different strategy.
Okay, so it is kind of like Dungeon Run then.
The biggest pain point that I wanted to solve for card game players is that whole pay-to-win model that everyone uses. In my game...
I do hate that. To be quite honest with you, the whole pay-to-win model is one of the... It's like the #1 reason I stopped playing Hearthstone after Unguro came out. So what happened is Unguro came out, and then like I'd saved up all this gold, and I got 60 different packs, and that was the one where they introduced the quests. And basically, I opened all these card packs, and I didn't get a single quest. And I was like, I really wanted to play it, and I just couldn't. So I honestly I quit out of frustration. I didn't open the game up for like 2 or 3 weeks. I played 1 or 2 rounds. I got the free pack, and then I just stopped because it's a play to win. And I haven't played really since then. And there's been so many expansions, except for the Dungeon Run. I played the Dungeon Run when it came out, but that was free for everyone, and it was single player. So I'm kind of interested in this.
You start the game with a couple classes unlocked. Those classes have all the cards in the game for them. Your class is just as balanced as any other. You start with a few classes unlocked. Those classes are balanced just like any other class in the game. And as more classes and characters get introduced to the game to play with, you have the option of unlocking them, either by spending money or in-game currency. I'm going to be doing the game design, the marketing. I'm even going to voice act some of the cards.
Pinata, take 1.
All right, maybe I won't voice act, but I'm gonna draw some of the cards. All right, maybe I won't be doing any of the art either, but that's exactly the point
It's
of
so
this fundraiser.
scripted.
It's important to me that this is a quality game.
Weird seeing Reynad,
and that's going to require a lot of time with talented
so
programmers,
sweet, so
engineers,
sugary.
and artists. The money we're raising right now is going to go directly to the game's development. Every single dollar is going to pay the developers, the engineers, and the artists that
It's some nice art. I like that art. I like the style of it. It's like a more cartoony version of Hearthstone. It doesn't take itself so seriously.
are going to make this all come together. Those of you that support the project are going to see the progress the entire way through. I plan
Wait, support the project. So I know it's not done yet. Is he doing some kind of fundraiser?
to post very regular updates about where we are with development, what we're working on, and what it looks like. For every dollar you guys put towards this project, you're going to get 3 times that value in in-game currency. We're also going to send out merch, and we're going to give you some of the actual paper prototypes that I drew at home with Sharpie and blank playing cards. Even if you can't pitch
I'm actually pretty excited about this game, but I want to just take a moment and talk about this from a business perspective. So essentially what he's doing is, it sounds like he's doing a Patreon, or no, not Patreon, what's it called? A fundraiser thing, GoFundMe. And he is basically saying, in exchange for money, you get digital money, which is not real, or t-shirts. So t-shirts got value, or the original cards that maybe will have value if the game takes off. But here's what you're not getting. You're not getting a return on your loan, because you're essentially giving him free money, right? It's basically a loan. And he gets to do it for free. So he gets an interest-free loan, and you get digital currency. And, man, I understand these business models. I refuse to participate in them. Like, if they offered, like, so Minnesota has a law where well, it's mostly for like bars and stuff, but it's like essentially crowdfunding. But in exchange, you get an actual equity. It's not like ownership. It's not full equity. It's a secondary type of equity, but it is actually owned, and ownership. But with this kind of stuff, you don't get anything. You get nothing. So yeah,
financially,
disappointing.
it'd help a lot if you helped spread the word. If you have a friend that's really into tabletop games or deck building games, I really think they'd enjoy this project.
Well, I am going to help spread the word, but you know,
Thank you for checking out our game, and I'm looking forward to sharing more with you soon.
play the Bazaar. It's on his forehead. He knows his memes.